Okay, recording is started. I warm welcome to everyone. A very good morning. Thanks everyone for taking Saturday morning time and joining us. Um, we'll start our session. Let's go to slide number 3, Asma. The couple of ground rules. Please take the advantage of chat window to network each other, to introduce yourself, and then make any kind of questions and all. No, you can ask through chat window. I'll post all your questions in the Q&A button. Asma will be helping us with the moderation of session today. She'll be reading out the questions during the session or at the end of the session. Whenever you feel having a question, you can just put down there. So at the proper time, Seema will be coordinating and helping us with the answers accordingly. And at the end of the session, we'll be sharing you, meaning we don't be sharing any PDU code with you. One PDU will be auto credited into your PMI ID provided you have a valid PMI credential. Okay, so those are the ground rules. So let's go to the next slide, Asma. So Seema is a program manager and operations in Biocon Biologicals. So it's been a kind of, I'm doing a lot of mini sessions on KSS, but this is one of the session from a very different background, very different domain, right this time. She's from the pharmaceutical background, but a very, very enthusiastic speaker. So let's know about her. Yeah, next slide, same Asma. So Seema is having overall 18 plus years of experience in different CROs like Argon Discoveries, Reddy Laboratories, Seagen Industries and all. And with a lot of pharmaceutical services background, and she's based out of Bangalore. Beyond work, her interests including dancing, cooking, and reading. She loves humor and belief in the positivity. Also traveling and exploring. I do witnessed her traveling recently. She been to a place where there are no people in some forest or something like that with a lot of friends. So she's also, maybe one time we can also discuss about her experiences during traveling and all. And she's a strong believer that life is a short, live it at the fullest. So with all this, Sima, thanks for accepting today's session, and I'm sure your presentation is going to help all of our attendees today. Over to you, Sima.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Praveen. Let me share my screen. Just tell me when it is visible.
Did you start it?
Yeah. Yes.
All
Can
right.
you see my screen?
We can see your screen.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, PMI BCC members, for giving me this opportunity to come in front of you all to bring this new idea of emotional intelligence to foster at workplace. Yes, this has been around for long that we keep talking about, and I actually had a couple of discussion with Praveen before bringing this topic on table, and got little bit inspiration when Deepa last week when I visited a PMIPCC event when Deepa brought this new topic of Barney World. Well, uh, emotional intelligence to foster change at workplace is what I'm planning to present it in front of you today. So come up with your ideas at the end of the session. Please feel free to talk to me, and I would like to share all that knowledge, all that experience that I gained through, and then what that I have used it at workplace, and I'm currently using as an ongoing process to improve self as well, uh, my working environment. I mean, at the place. So without delay, uh, yeah, small introduction about me as kind enough of you, Praveen, introducing me. Thanks a lot. It's yes, I carry about close to 19 years of experience working in different pharma industries. So I have been through a role of scientist to program lead with various experiences, carried out a lot of operations work. So presently based out of Bangalore. My family is settled in Bangalore. I'm originally from Bangalore. I have two boys who keeps me all time busy, and then rest all as introduced by Praveen. So what I'm planning to bring today is what is emotional intelligence, how to embrace change using emotional intelligence. When we have when we have people around high and low EI, how do we deal with them at work? What are the benefits that of using EI at work? And also, what are what happens if there is a lack of EI at place? When we see EI at strategic perspective, how it brings a difference at workplace. We all know what is emotional intelligence. I mean, I don't need to give a special introduction though, but then since uh, when we connect these emotions to intelligence, these two words together brings up a different perceptions, right? It's all about our ability to perceive, our ability to understand, our ability to manage and handle our emotions. So we are all probably we might have heard, or we I have heard in my career all throughout that female is always uh, more emotional compared to male in the society, right? So it's all about how we perceive at our emotions. So these emotions, when used in a right place, when we applied it at the right time, it becomes, you know, a ability for you to recognize your own as well as others, and then helps to foster your working place at environment. So before I bring this topic to the table, I wanted to go through some books because I love reading. Then I picked up this book of Daniel Goleman. He, please read through this book when you have your time. I mean, if you are a good reader. Daniel Goleman defines, he is the one who actually introduced emotional intelligence at workplace long back. If you read through his read through the history of emotional intelligence at workplace. So he gives you a range of scenarios where how people reacted instead of responding. So when you react instead of responding, how the situation changed, and if you have responded in that position, how the situation could have changed. So all these small stories, if you read through, you will really experience a different feeling of bringing emotions to connect to intelligence at workplace. So when it also helps you to drive your leadership performance at work. How emotional intelligence can be categorized? We all know those two categories as I have defined here: intrapersonal emotional intelligence and interpersonal emotional intelligence. What is intrapersonal skills? Interpersonal skills is our ability to identify our own self, know ourselves before we interact with others. So that's interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills is very important bucket where we understand ourselves first before we become uh, we interact with others. So it's actually defined into three different components: emotional self-awareness, emotional self-control, self-motivation. What is emotional self-awareness? We all go through different emotions every day. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are angry, we have different mood. It's all our emotions, how we respond to environment or to the people with whom we interact. So being aware of your own self emotions itself is emotional self awareness. So you need to know what you're going through at that moment. That defines you, your self awareness. Once you have your own emotional self awareness, you will understand how to control them. Sometimes we react immediately to some situations. Your manager comes, walks into the working area and gives you a unnecessary work which you are probably not prepared it, or somebody comes suddenly and uh, get angry at you and throw some tantrum. How do you control? How do you react back? So you understand yourself, you understand your awareness, and then you control yourself. You have that self control that defines emotional self control. The third component is self motivation. This self motivation is something that we all build over the years. Some people, we are all born with our own uh, standard of motivating self, or some we learn through different situations that we face in life. Getting up early when everyone is sleeping and then doing something of your own, or doing exercise, walking couple of walking for about 10 minutes outside, doing something that interests you, which actually motivates you, is all about self motivation. Self motivation helps you to define your long term goal rather than focusing on your short term goals. So, these, I'm just trying to explain these three components to explain what actually means intrapersonal skills to us. So, that's about understanding self. The second component is interpersonal skill. When we have understood ourselves, we are good at our intrapersonal skill. Now that we have to interact with people around us, that's a sociability skill. That is nothing but interpersonal skills. Every year, at least when I used to sit with my manager at the end of the year for my appraisal, I used to listen in my initial career of time. Uh, there is a lack of interpersonal skills in you. There is a lack of interpersonal skills in you. Come on, I always used to think, is that something that I have to really work on? Yes, there are lot of things that we have to work on, which helps us to understand, to work with others when we are at workplace, and be it at our personal space or at a professional space, develop that sociability skill. So interpersonal skills always divided into two different buckets: sociability skill and empathy. Sociability skill makes a person to be nice, approachable, a person who is actually, you may find a lot of people around you with whom you feel very free to talk. You feel a comfortable zone to share with, or people very approachable. So those are the people who exhibit high level of sociability skill. And when it comes to empathy, I feel empathy is the big component for interpersonal skills. Uh, Empathy is nothing but thinking about keeping yourself into the shoes of others, and understanding to the level that requires a lot of empathy in one person. So one anyone comes to you with their problem, the first thing that we have to have is a listening skill, understanding the person from their point of view. So for that you need empathy. You need to understand that what the person is undergoing, what the person is actually, why the person has come to you with their problem. Then to understand the problem, you have to have that empathy. You have to have the ability to get into the shoes of others and exhibit that skill. So with all this sociability skill, we define intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills as our emotional, um, two big buckets that we have to have in us as a skill to exhibit this. what you all call as emotional intelligence at workplace. So with that, uh, I'm just moving to a topic called how to embrace change using AI. So there is a slight difference between these two topics, but then they get interconnected at certain point of time. So uh, we all know how change is, right? Change is permanent is what we hear every now and then at workplace. But are we prepared to embrace the change at every time? Are we prepared to uh, take the change that comes all the way to us in our day-to-day life at very open-mindedly? No, right? Sometimes we do not. We are not interested to embrace the change. So we all say, yeah, change is permanent. Let's be agile. This is the era that now we are every day hearing. Life is agile, adapt, be very flexible, adapt the change. But how much we really adapt the change? We are skilled workers. We have a certain set of skills which is being established through us or we learned for many years. So suddenly you need to change. How are we going to embrace the change? So identify that if we have to embrace a change at workplace, the morning, very next day morning when you go to the or go to office, you are being given a different task. You have been told that you are no more doing the earlier task. The first thing that comes to us is a resistance. Why do we resist to that? Because you feel that we may be incompetent to that role because we are not at par with the other peer who are doing that skill for longer time. How to embrace this change now? When such things happens, be very open-minded. Identify your source for resistance. Why am I resisting? This is an opportunity for me to create a new learning path. This is an opportunity to learn a new skill that's been acquired. I have gone through in my career several times like this where the things changed, the scenario changed, and we are thrown into a area place where you're no longer doing the same work. Well, at that moment, instead of resisting, what I, with my personal experience, I'm telling, it's always been better that I have embraced the change and I've tried to take up that changes. And that actually transformed my skills, transformed myself into a better person rather than a person of um, the person who sits behind and crib saying that I do not have this, I'm not going to change, I'm not going to take it up. You you have to question your basis for emotional response while you emotionally responding at your workplace. Before you respond, you question yourself, sit aside, take a cup of coffee, sit beside and sit alone, spend time and think about yourself that before you emotionally respond to a situation, ask the basis of this uh, response. Do I need to respond immediately? Can I take some time and respond? Really, it is needed at this moment. Actually, that helps a lot. And at that situation, you own your part and always think optimistically. With that, I would like to brief you all that embracing change certain time using your emotional intelligence helps you to adapt quickly at workplace. I'm not saying it's required at all time, do at all time. Probably sometime you may not be interested to accept that change. Take your time. Take your time to understand yourself. If that is what I'm going to do, embrace it. If not, there's always an opportunity outside for your skill. With that, I will also want to take you all through something called high and low EI at workplace. We face different people at different levels at different moments in our workplace. Every one of us get up in the morning with a different mood. We do not get up every day with the same mood, same personality. We are not the same personality probably every day. It all depends upon how we actually carve our day throughout. I always feel that morning times are the fresh time where you spend some time for yourself and then uh, plan your day well. However, whatever you plan, we all know as a program managers, end of the day, it's all everywhere. You will face challenges. And how to come out of these challenges, it all depends upon our high or low EI that we use at work. We all get moody sometimes. Some people come to us with their different moods. Some employees, or if you are in a leadership role, you will face different team members coming with a different mood every day. So if you are a person with high EI, how do you deal with it? How do you take a time for yourself and take a time for that person to address the query? Addressing their query is very important in leadership role, because especially for a project manager role or a program manager role, for us, our role is always defined between people, process, and business. When that comes, we are always revolving around people. So how using our high EI at workplace actually helps us to express our opinions very openly. It's very important when we have in-person meeting, either it is in-person meeting or it is a meeting which is now that we have online meetings. Listening to each other is very important. You all may face every day that in our there is, whenever we have a meeting, there are a set of people who are not even responding to anything that you talk, right? There are a set of people who are constantly arguing on the same topic for a long time and come out of the meeting with no productivity, with no results, with no actually benefit. Or sometimes you also find some people in the meeting who are sitting quietly throughout or giving only inputs whenever it is required and listening very carefully and drawing the conclusion at the end of the meeting in a right way. So those are the people who you will find who have high EI at work. They actually come to you and express their opinions openly. They connect to you. They bring the initiatives at work. People with high EI, if they are in leadership role, what you will find is they develop the trust in you, then they bring the flexibility at work and they provide a freedom to be very co-creative. When people are being provided a freedom to be flexible, uh, to come up with their opinion, you become more creative. You must have also found in your workplace that people take out their time at the end of the day, go out, meet somewhere, have dinner out. It's all not about gossiping about working environment, right? Some people with high EI use that as an opportunity to know what's going on at workplace and how they can actually respond back. So that is also adds lot of impact. Now I'm coming to the center of this topic, that is benefits of using EI at workplace. So this is the more theme that I would like to. When you go back from this presentation, spending a Saturday morning with me, you should take some uh, charging information which can actually help you to bring that change at workplace. So what are the benefits that happens that you can take away uh, as a keynote today from the session is when you have good EI, emotional intelligent people at work, your teamwork, if you are a leader or if you have a leader with high EI, the teamwork improves, motivation improves among the team. The team actually bonds better. Team will have a flexibility to have their opinion, have express their opinion better at workplace. So your workplace will be a workplace which you will look forward to go every day, rather than the workplace where it's full of politics or it's full of the thing that you would not be interested in. You will be have you will come up with your more of self-awareness. You will be more self-aware of yourself and you will understand how you can respond to others' queries. You will not find a workplace where you will have everybody fostering happy mood, bringing a lot of ideas. You won't find it. It's every workplace has a different set of um, people coming from a different background, from different places. So it's all up to us how we bond with them, how we improve, how we communicate, so how we bring the change. So when we have those awareness, what happens is all team members work towards a common vision. As I explained in the earlier slide, when the change happens also, you will be able to respond quickly, you will be able to adapt quickly because you have a good team with you, you have a good people around with you. So you will feel like, hey, let's work together and it can actually improve, the things can be changed. So there will be a people who, if you have a team of people who are with high EI, they will be ready to learn new skills, they'll be ready to share their knowledge. So your team becomes much stronger. Your communication improves. You must have found in your workplace there will be two people sitting next to each other, but then the communication is too poor that you have to send over email and ask for the follow up again. It's just a matter of walking towards them, approaching them, and getting the work done. Sometimes we don't even do that because of the poor lack of communication. The communication improves when you are in leadership role. Leadership role actually, according to me, need not to be a leader at workplace by definition, right? If you have all these high EI, if you have a uh, self awareness, you know how what you are and how do you to react, you become your leader for your work, and then that actually drives to your leadership role naturally. The last but least, practicing self regulation. What is practicing self regulation? So when it comes to practicing self regulation, with my own experience, I have been through a lot of emotional up and down in my own career in last 18 to 19 years, in this 2 decades of career at workplace. So uh, what I have practiced in last 2 years is, uh, and that has actually brought a change in me, is I spend some me time. I spent as in one of my previous session, one of my colleague had introduced some new ideas of Pomodoro techniques. So that actually helps a lot. When you are at a workplace, you are stressed. You have lot of activities to be done one after another. You plan it one by one, and then sometimes that doesn't happen the way you think, doesn't happen the way it has to go through. You practice your self regulation, you do what feels good for you. Walk, take a cup of coffee, spend some time. Okay, that gives you a little bit better feeling. Come back and then continue work. End of the day, if you are stressed, do what likes you. Probably, as Deepa had explained in our last session, follow your passion. Go dance, that makes you feel happy. Get up morning, do some exercise that brings you a whole day energy. Go out for a walk, play with your kids, uh, talk to your partner, do something that actually helps you in self regulation, and then come out of the stress and go back to the work every day with the same zeal. With that note, I want to come to a different topic where what happens if there is a lack of EI at work. So we discussed all about having the benefits of EI at work, having having your interpersonal skills in place, embracing the change. Now, if there is a lack of emotional intelligent people around you, the environment, how negatively it impacts. This also we might have faced mostly in our professional life, right? The major two areas that we will have an impact at workplace is communication and decision making, be it in a higher management level or at a lower level. Whatever the level that you are working at, or whatever the part that you are contributing at organization, If the communication, if there is a lack of EI, a certain intelligence is missing, certain respond to emotional is missing, your communication will become poor. Decision making will be poor. If at higher management level, if the two head of the department is not communicating to each other and doing the same work parallelly, then you are not having a productive uh, environment, right? The same people are doing the same work repetitively will not contribute much to the organization. So the organization will not have a good, better goal. So decision making gets impacts at professional life. How EI can be thought from a strategic perspective at workplace. We are all now in an era where we are seeing uh, great resignation. We are seeing a hiring, massive hiring. We are seeing a massive firing. We saw a change in change in working uh, for all that in last 1 to 2 years, right? Post 2019 or 2020 per se. So we have seen there is a huge layoff happening in several companies. How at higher level using EI from strategic perspective can be actually helpful for the employees when you are in the side of the impact of layoff. Actually, managing emotional impact of layoff is just a campaign. It's not an event. Why I put this very strongly because um, when it is looked at strategic point of view, EI plays very important role here. When a company goes under loss or a company actually decides to lay off certain set of people, how do they weave at it? If there is a not a scenario where you have to immediately close the company and lay off everybody, people generally go with this kind of box where this kind of laws where high contributors are retained and reassigned, low contributors are reduced or removed or moved to a different department. So how a leader can manage this? Leader can have a principled communication with the team members and tell them, hey, how you brought a lot of ideas to the table so far. Instead of just giving them a letter in the morning and saying that it's done, you can actually tell, give them the uh, importance of what they have actually brought into the table. Coach them, give them the real support as in for that individual, and make this very smoother from using your emotional intelligence at that momentary. After all, it's we are all dealing with human, right? We are not dealing with robot. So can we keep that a very simple manner and offer assistance? So that's what I would like to bring it over here. To conclude this talk at the end, finally, before we go for a Q&A session, something like that I want to put into a shorter note is work group emotional intelligence profit. So here, what is this WEIP? What is this profile? I mean to say is our ability to deal with our own emotions, ability to recognize your own emotions, your ability to discuss your own emotions, manage your emotions, and also recognize others' emotions actually makes you a strong leader at workplace. So let us focus on improving that at workplace so that our workplace gets maximum benefit out of it, and we as an individual excel in the work that we perform. Um, Ravin, if you can help me, I think it's not moving to the next slide.
I think we don't have any questions. Asma, did you got any questions in Q&A box?
No,
Ultimately, no matter the situation, never let your emotions overpower your intelligence. This is what I would like to conclude with. Thanks, Praveen. I'm just stopping over here.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I see there's a great insights about emotional intelligence and how do you carry it the workplace. Okay, there is one guy who has come up with a question. So, Asma, please take up that.
Sure, Praveen. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Seema for giving us a brief on emotional intelligence, which is very much important in today's life. Through your presentation, you have helped us, all of us, understand what challenges we are facing due to the lack of emotional intelligence at workplace. So I believe each of our PMI members have enjoyed this address thoroughly, and hoping some of the insights shared us today about self-awareness will benefit all of our members. We appreciate your time and support. Moving on to the question and answers. So we have a question here. How is emotional intelligence landscape changing post-COVID? How is emotional intelligence landscape changing post-COVID? Over to you, Miss Seema.
Yeah, thank you for this question. Thanks a lot. This is coming from whom? Can I know? Asma?
It is SSK, so there is no full name.
Okay. Thanks, SSK. Thanks for this question. Yes, I think I bought this topic mainly because of the changes that we have seen post-COVID. Uh, Probably as if you have attended Deepa's session last week, I'm not sure. Uh, she had actually told how linear our life was initially in the pre-COVID area, pre-COVID era. Sorry. So how linear it used to be. Our probably ancestors or whoever, we had a very linear life. We were born and we had a goal. He wanted to become a doctor. Somebody wanted to become a doctor. He only studied for doctor subject, and he became a doctor. And he lived his life, and I mean, he had a happy life. So, but then post COVID, we are seeing there is a lot of things that is changing the scenario. We are we faced a layoff, we faced great resignation, the companies faced massive hiring, companies are facing every day different challenges, different scenario. So I feel at this point of time, emotional intelligence plays a very important role. This is the age where we bring all these new ideas, where we improve it's all about, rather than looking out for a different job every day or looking for a different place. Now it's about staying where you are, making your place best, making your job well, doing what you are, embracing the changes that is coming at your workplace. So for all that, I think being self-aware is very important, and be having that emotional intelligence connected to at workplace helps you a lot. Hope I answered. I'm not hearing anything.
I think
Asma?
there's a problem with Asma. Okay. Asma?
Okay, then.
Right. I'll
Any more
connect.
question?
Yeah, there is Sajina. How can we help to improve our team members' low emotional intelligence?
Connect to them, communicate with them, talk to them, have a one-on-one, have a monthly connect, have a proper communication. Help them to understand where they are lacking. Actually, that helps you a lot. Even I have faced this at my workplace, and I face it every day, day to day. And if you do not communicate well, if you do not have that monthly connect, or if you do not have that connect to your team member, it's not going to happen. It's not a individual work, right? It's a teamwork. So you need to have that bonding created.
Thank you, Seema. I'm back now. So we have some comments and appreciation for you. It's a very insightful session with examples of actual work environment. This is from
Thank you.
Munawar,
Thank
and
you, Munawar.
And also, like, there is a question like from Vikash. He's saying, is there a correlation existing between IQ and EQ, positive or negative? No positive, negative, no correlation, or it's context specific. So this question is from Vikash.
I feel that it's context specific.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have another question from Sharmila. She's asking, how do you manage large subteams and that many people emotions to make them understand the common goal of the work that we do? Empathizing which with each person also takes a toll on your own emotions. How do we manage that? So
Yes,
this is a
that's a very,
question
very
from
good
Vikash.
question. Very good question. Yeah, I would like to answer that. So if you have a team of 100, 200 people, I have seen people in such a leadership role absorbing lot of uh, heat from the management and then still not percolating it down to the team and managing it very, very well. You have to learn from such people. I mean, I learn a lot with from them. It's definitely not easy to manage. Probably you have thousands of people. If somebody is in a CEO position, imagine he has to handle 5,000 to 10,000 people. How he cannot go to each of them and show empathy. He cannot be attached to everyone. He cannot have that emotional bonding. It's not happening. That's not the way it has to be handled. But he has to have, I think he will have a vision, that vision which has been shared to the leaders, and the leaders will create a small environment where that you create a leader within your own team, so that the leader will percolate that down. You don't need to take it all over you alone, but then you have to have a way to create that. Learn from the leaders.
Thank you so much, Seema, for the wonderful advice. So moving on to the next appreciation, Vidya is saying very thoughtful session. She liked it. And next, moving on to the next question, we have from Ravikant. How this emotional intelligence will be helpful in economical crisis where for a leader having target to reduce the cost. So this is a question from Ravikant. Over to you, Seema.
Thanks, Ravi. That's very, very tough question for me. I would say in such scenario, this would not be so beneficial for you to think over emotional intelligence. Uh, See, these are the situations that you have to use where it is required, right? Not in a economic crisis. I'm sorry, I won't be able to answer that. But in a crisis where you have an economic crisis, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. So something that you can probably be strong with your own emotions to face it. Yeah.
Thank you, Seema, for that answer. Let's move on to our next question. So we have a question like there is emotions wheel. If you Google it, that will help to understand our emotions and can use it to respond to a situation than to react. So this is a response from Gokul. He is one of our PMI directors.
Thanks,
Next
Gokul.
one,
It's not, yeah, it's not a question actually.
it's
Adding to
it's
what Seema is,
Just
talking about, in order to actually respond to an emotion, uh, in India we don't actually get this much. But if you go out there, kids were taught from the very young age how to understand your emotions, and instead of reacting, how to respond. So I got to learn like that for my kids, and I thought, that will be useful for all of us here to. That's why I'm sharing. Sorry.
hey, thanks. Thanks a lot, Gokul. I think please share it with me. Please share it with everyone. It's very
Yeah, yeah. I
insightful.
thought of
Would love to
sharing it,
teach to
but
my kids.
yes, I thought of sharing it, but it doesn't have this WebEx doesn't have a attachment option, and I can't copy and paste the photo. I
Okay,
always
no
keep it
issue.
in my mobile, so I'll share it in a group, and
Yeah,
then that way you'll get it.
super. Thanks, Google.
Thank you, Mr. Gokul, and thank you, Seema, for the answer. We have our next question from Balakrishna. How will be this emotional intelligence helpful while taking a career break or vice versa, like while resuming careers? Over to you,
Yeah,
Seema.
it's a very good question. I have mentored some people who actually took a career break and then when they wanted to come back to career. So especially as a woman, we take a lot of career break. We end up taking career break. Probably I have not taken myself, but I have seen my colleagues, friends who are actually taking a career break. It requires a lot of courage to come back to work after you have a maternity break or a career break because you are spending that time for family. And I always say that it's it's huge applause to the woman who actually spend a lot of time at house and then contribute to the family and then come out of that emotional what you say that trauma and then still venture to come back to work. So it's a very important element for us to emotionally strong at that moment and then fight back and then come back to working as a working woman. It is very important.
Excellent advice, Seema. So, a career break should never be an hindrance for your
Never
career journey. Yeah. So,
because my I have as a personal experience I would like to tell is my mother always taught me that she was the one who actually could not uh, pursue her career or pursue her studies. Probably career is a different thing. After probably 10th standard only those days she could not pursue her studies. But she brought us up saying that you be very independent in life. You study what you want, be confident, go out, do what you want. And then she actually brought that perspective in us, and whatever I am now is all because of her vision that she had. So I feel that as a mother, she did a very great job on us. So we all probably, I'm not saying that it's a woman topic, but when it comes to a career break, it's mostly women who take a career break for most than men. So it requires a lot of courage to come back to work.
kudos to you, Seema, for sharing us such an insightful story about your mother. Moving on, we have a question from Sataruddin. He's asking, how do we enhance emotional intelligence in agile environment? Over to you.
Enhance means, I mean, can I understand this question a little bit more further? What do you mean by enhance?
Sataruddin, would you like to
Ask this
ask the
question.
question directly? I can unmute you. Or you can also post us over the
Yeah,
chat.
yes, I'll answer back. Probably you have to embrace the change, as I explained you earlier. In agile environment is all about embracing the change, because agile is nothing but it's it's not predictable. It's very change. Change is what bringing every day, and then how do you embrace it with your emotions and with your intelligence? So, if I understand the question more deep, probably I'll be able to connect it.
Thank you, Seema. So we have one more suggestion from Shankara. He's saying companies should keep a professional counselors, helping employees to become self-aware. So that's a very wonderful advice, Shankara.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's right.
Yeah, and moving on to our next question, we have Vijaya. She's asking, how does it help an individual in making ethical decisions? How does it help an individual in making ethical decisions, emotional intelligence?
Ethical decisions per se, what kind of ethical decisions you are focusing on at workplace or at personal life?
I don't see any response from her, so maybe I'm assuming
Maybe
she's
I can
asking
take
with
up this
respect
question
workplace,
directly.
workplace. I can
Yeah.
see a response, workplace.
Ethical decisions means when you are facing any situations, or is it something that dealing with the situations, or what kind of ethical scenario? If you can explain me in detail, I can actually answer. We'll put it in chat box. That's fine. I mean, I think we can take it offline.
Yeah. So meanwhile, we'll go to another person. So from Dharani, we have this question. What is the nature of emotional intelligence? So Dharani is asking this question.
Nature of emotional intelligence. Okay. What is the nature? Sorry, Asma, I don't get it. It comes naturally.
Empathy, sympathy.
Maybe if somebody can explain it. It's majorly, I
Yeah,
think,
I'll
empathy,
try.
skill, sympathy. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I'll try little bit.
Yeah, sure,
As
sure.
as you
Sure, Gokul.
already
Thanks
added
a lot.
Asma and Seema, emotional intelligence, IQ and EQ. These are and nowadays there is another one, social quotation. So quotient, SQ as well.
Correct. Correct.
So emotional emotional is mostly about your feelings. It is totally inside from you. IQ is your brain,
Absolutely.
intelligence quotient, which is which your brain tells you, which your knowledge, logic, analytics. That is what IQ is. Emotions is how you feel about it, what you feel about it. That is the nature of emotional intelligence. So if some situation came where you have to feel about it, instead of feeling, what EI and EQ tells about is, instead of feeling it, you respond to it instead of reacting to it. Reaction is a natural situation that comes within you from your heart. So, what EI tells is, instead of reacting to it, suppress the reaction, use that reaction to respond to that situation rather than reacting. So, that's the nature. It's a feeling, what you get out of from that feeling. That is the emotional.
Thanks, Gokul. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Gokul, for adding us a very great response. Like we have some appreciations from Krishna, Raghu, and Sanjina. They are saying this was a wonderful session, and you have given them a very great explanations for the questions. And we have one more question from Bikash. He's asking, is there any attempt being taken by industry to increase emotional intelligence using artificial intelligence? Any example you wish to share based on your experience in this topic?
At least in pharma industry, I see that, yes, there are initiatives which companies are taking to improve uh, teamwork, to improve collaboration, using AI. AI is, as I understand, it's all about automation now that's happening, digitalization, which is happening at industry in a higher pace. I am not sure about IT industry how it is happening, but in pharma industry, yes, digitization is now on a high demand, which they are actually slowly implementing at different segments, which is actually going to take away certain that fear of people having taking away certain jobs, certain skills is there. So I see at in our industries where people are interacting more and trying to tell them that, hey, some of those those emotional characters of yours, personalities of yours, which you have developed over the years, is not going to change. It's not going to take away your job. I feel that fear, that connectivity, or that improvement is there in industries. Yes.
Agree, Seema. That's very well said. We have some more appreciations and thank yous for you from Gokul, Hari Babu, Santosh, Rama, Ravikant. So everyone is saying thank you for the wonderful session, and they are very happy about
Thank
this.
you.
And there is one more person,
On this
Bhanu
field.
has shared us one link with respect to what Gokul has mentioned. So I see that is it, like with respect to the questions. So overall,
Sorry,
it's a wonderful session. Yeah.
I think
Thanks
I'm
for
sharing
sharing
this.
this. Yeah.
Wait, Simam.
Sorry.
Gokul is sharing the emotional wheel. Go ahead, Gokul.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the emotion wheel that you see. It gives you a clear understanding of what the center line is, the emotions that you get, and the outer circle is the one which actually talks about the response rather than reaction. Reaction is you feeling bad. Why you are feeling bad, for example? Because you're bored or you're busy, you're stressed, you're tired. That's why you're feeling. And further drilling down, how you respond to it is you feel indifferent, apathetic. So these are the things that you see will bring the emotions in the center wheel. So you need to understand why you are feeling either happy, bad, surprised, fearful, angry, disgusted, all of this. And then you understand the reason why you're feeling that emotion. Once you understand why you're feeling that emotion, you can respond to it properly. So this is what the emotions we'll talk about. And there is another what Bhanu Prakash gave, that is also a very good one, which actually talks about when you are feeling surprised and happy, what is the reaction that you get. So it is clubbing those. That is also a very interesting one.
Yeah, it's not about always responding to your anger, or even when you are happy, how do you respond, how do you react is also, I think, that we have to have a note in a modern nation, right?
So
Yes,
that actually, Gokul has already shared this particular wheel in our Telegram group. So go ahead and make use of it. I really appreciate, like, this particular wheel itself will take a 1 hour session to understand in detail.
Correct.
So
absolutely.
yeah, not, I mean, it can be more than 1 hour also. Yes, good that like we are like collaborating on the details about the emotional intelligence. Thanks for bringing the topic and getting this kind of great questions to us. One Prakash, in case you are part of the PMI Telegram channel, please pass your information also through that channel. And now, yeah, it's time to have some feedback and takeaways. Go ahead, Asma. I think Asma, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. So I'm just sharing my screen. All of you, please submit us your feedback. Your feedback matters to us most. At least one person's feedback will definitely make a difference. So we would definitely expect you to share good feedback with us so that we will work on it and bring that improvement as soon as possible. So I'm just sharing you my screen. Please scan this QR code and feed us your feedback so that it will be helpful. I hope everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes. Go ahead and share the QR code. Scan the
Yeah.
QR, then you can share your feedback.
Yeah, using this QR code, you can share us your feedback and you can also let us know if you would like to see any kind of improvements in our sessions going forward. Okay, let's move on to our interesting area, PDU information for active credential holders. So these are going to be auto-credited by our PMI PCC members to all our PMI PSC members who are part of this session. And if you have not shared your right PMI membership ID, please write us to events@pmipcc.org so that we can verify your email ID and fix the issue as quickly as possible. And that is it. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I would like to thank all the board of directors for giving me this opportunity and for arranging
Um,
these wonderful knowledge sharing sessions. I would like to hand over it to Praveen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think one small thing. Sorry, Praveen, before we hand it over to you, there is another question that came up in the Q&A. It's a very wonderful question, actually. So that's why I'm stopping it here. Sorry, Seema, if you have a couple of minutes.
Sure,
Uh,
Gokul.
Please go ahead.
yeah,
Go.
there is
It's good.
the question asked by one second is Venkat. Generally, men are taught to not to display emotions. How can men specifically become more emotionally intelligent?
Don't teach your kids to be like that. At least I have two sons. I'm not trying to bring them like that. I think it's on upbringing again. We should not come up with that mindset that we are men and we cannot show off our emotions, or we cannot see. Emotional intelligence is not about showing off emotions at all. First of all, at certain place, how intelligently you can manage your emotions, it's all about. So be it a man or woman, I think it's uh, the clarity is same for all. According to me, I feel that uh, it could be emotions is same for all. It either it is men or women. So we have our own way. We are our own set of challenges that we face every day, and men also face set of challenges that every day on their own uh, area of expertise, on the area of that they excel. So it's the same for everyone. So you deal the same way that you deal for women. It's nothing to have a disparity between two.
Yeah. Seema,
Perfect.
one quick thing. People are asking for the feedback link. Can you paste that URL in the chat window, Seema? Sorry, Asma.
Asma, yeah.
Asma, can you just paste that URL in the chat window, which is there on the PPT? All right, guys, who are
Done now, Praveen.
thank you, who are joined through mobile, can take this link and share your feedback. And there are some questions related to PDUs. PDUs will be auto credited to all the valid PMI credential holders. Okay. So in case if you have any certification done through PMI, any certificate, irrespective of any certification, and if you have shared the proper PMI membership ID through us via registration, it will automatically credited to you by Monday evening or Tuesday in your membership. Okay. So there is no process for claiming the PDUs. There is no link that will be shared to anybody. It will be auto credited through me to all the people who are having a valid PMI credentials. Okay. And the correct PMI ID. All right. So that's it from my side.
Praveen, we have one unanswered question over the chat in Q&A.
Mhm.
So one person has posted it like generally men are taught to not to display emotions.
That's the
How can men specifically
Yeah,
become
yeah, I
more
answered
emotionally
it.
intelligent?
I
yeah.
just asked you.
Gokul has asked. Yeah, correct, correct.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for reiterating. Thanks. That's the important one.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Seema. There is nothing like no men or women. Emotions are important in the current generation. We should bring up our kids with the emotions. Then only the relationship will continue in our
Right.
family. And emotions are to be played intelligently at the right time in a right way in our workplaces, and then only we can manage our work-life balance. I think I echoed Seema's total session, but yes, that's what my understanding from the session.
Super, Paveen.
Praveen, we have a message from chat like people are saying this link is not directing them to the feedback, but to the registration. Can you provide the actual link? I have just pasted the link which
Oh,
I
so
was
through
told.
okay, I think I mean okay, there may be some small problem here. Okay, I'll do one thing for all the people who joined this current session. By tomorrow evening or sometime, I'll share the link for feedback. through the mail ID, on all the mail IDs, so that they can share their feedback. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Seema.
you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Seema. Bye.
Bye bye.
So much, guys.
Nice
Thank you,
weekend too.
everyone. Bye.